All right, so if you're taking notes, what I want you to write down first is knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. So Joe said something to me over the past couple of weeks, maybe like 3-4 times. Says the smartest person in the room is not the most successful. The most successful is the person who surrounds themselves with the most successful people. So, a little bit about me. I worked with Justin back in Memphis probably until about a year ago or last July, and I started doing DirecTV out of Costco. So yeah, I could outsell some of y'all on DirecTV. But started doing DirecTV in Costco. Did that till about January. Justin calls me up in early January. Tells me, hey, I'm in San Antonio. I'm working in the same office as Joe Eckhart, regional consultant, and we're killing it out here. And I was like, at first, I said, man, I'll think about it, but probably not. So just give me a few weeks. And I was really thinking about it. I was like, I can't do this. Like, that's such a move. I've never lived far away from home. Still live with my parents. I'm comfortable in this situation. But then when I really got to thinking hard about it, it was like, I'm here in this situation right now. I'm comfortable, but where am I going to be in 10 years? What's this going to do for me? I know that in the company I was in right then, I was not going to make it to management. My owner was a rookie owner. I love the guy. The guy's taught me so much. I came into this business, I was working on a farm, wearing muscle shirts and everything, wearing like freaking shorts to interviews, and he transformed me into somebody, wearing suits all the time and just into a better person. But as far as being my leader, he wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go. And I hated having to leave him, but it became about me, my life, my future. So I couldn't believe it, but I really started to think, what do I need to do to get where I want to go? And I was like, wow, do I really have to leave? Like, this is going to be so hard, but I'm not going to get to management here. So it's like, I got to start over. Am I really going to move? So somehow or another, I decided to move 715 miles away from home and start over, just completely start over a new life and come work with Justin, come work with Joe. So, I say knowledge is not power. Knowledge is trumped every time by execution. So what I had to do, like Joe said, surround yourself with better people. It's like, if I really want to get to management, then I have to do that. And what better way than to go somebody who has 4 outside deals under his organization, and then Joe, who's making over $1 million a year, work right next to them every single day. So I took that big step and just, you got to believe in this business. In a broad sense, we call this business an opportunity, but the way you should look at it yourself is not an opportunity for yourself in your own mind, because if you look at it that way, then you're giving yourself a way out. You should look at it as a mission. It's the only thing, nothing else outside of this. I'm going to make it to management. I took that big step because I know I'm going to make it to management, and I needed to work alongside those people. So I'll talk about, attitude, right? So I feel like I'm really good at keeping my attitude, and I was thinking, I call it bulletproof attitude, but at the same time, I do lose it sometimes. So then I started thinking of it as literally like bulletproof. You're wearing a bulletproof vest. So when you get shot with a bulletproof vest on, yeah, you survive, but it hurts, right? So anybody ever been shot with a bulletproof vest? You have?
Oh, okay.
Did it hurt?
Some of it.
Did it knock you down?
No, it spun me around, but it knocked me down.
So you can have that bulletproof vest on, but it's still gonna hurt you. So what separates people with that bulletproof attitude is how fast you get back up. Joe loses the attitude. Justin loses his attitude. I lose my attitude, but we get back up fast. And that's what separates us. And I'll tell you kind of how I keep my attitude. It's really changed my life when I learned about, just changing your state of mind. And there's 2 ways you can really do that. 1, literally by changing the way you move, and 2, by changing what you focus on. And Eric's heard a couple of videos that I listened to on that. So when I say how you move, changing. I'm not doing that exercise.
Just do
Don't
it.
worry, I'm not doing that exercise.
Just do it.
But,
In front of
so
everyone.
emotion is created by motion. So look down right now. Just look down. Think, and then think somebody who's depressed. Right? What's their body language, right? They're looking down, they're slumped over. But imagine like when you accomplish something, when you wrote your first DirecTV or scored 3 DirecTVs in a day, you're walking around like this, right? Got your shoulders up, clapping, moving your body. So what if you did that when you were struggling? That's what I do throughout the day. So many times I've scored at the very end of the day. The way I was talking about it in the meeting today was, you know, if you talk to 150 people, sign up one person for DirecTV, you get paid $150. Every one of those people who told you no just handed you $1. If you talk to 50 people, every one of those people just handed you $3. So love those no's, love those people telling you no, right? So, and then second, what you focus on. What you focus on equals how you feel, and what you feel equals how you behave, right? So if you're focusing on how something can't be done, then you're absolutely right. So the best way to change what you focus on is the questions that you ask yourself. Are you asking yourself, why can't I do this? How come I can never score? If you're doing that, then that's just an endless cycle. You're not going to find an answer to that. But if you ask yourself, you know, how can I benefit from this? What can I do to change so I can score, so I can do better? The questions you ask yourself, they literally change, you know, what you're deleting in your mind. If you're asking yourself positive questions, then you're deleting the negatives in your mind. If you're asking yourself those negative questions, then you're removing all the positives from your mind. And also with questions, it helps you access resources in your mind that you never would have accessed before. So asking yourself the right questions can completely change your attitude, and moving in different ways can completely change your attitude. So next I'll go over goals. Now, there was a study at Yale about 40, 50 years ago where the class, they asked them, you know, how many people actually wrote down your goals, right? Wrote down the goals for your life, or how many people just, you know, told them the goals for their life. And it turned out that 20 years later, they went and interviewed all the people who were, you know, still surviving of that class. And it turned out that the 3% who had said they had wrote down their goals were more fulfilled in life, but more than that, that 3% was worth more than that other 97% combined in net worth. So a couple weeks ago, you know, I wrote down my goals, had them on a board, and I completely killed it in the field. Had like 6 demos and nine apps, something like that. And then last week, I didn't write down my goals. I'm not gonna go over on numbers, but they were pretty low. And then this week I did, and I've worked 1 day in the field. I'm in 3 demos and 2 apps already. So just writing down your goals is giving yourself, it's called the consistency principle. We want to follow through with what we say we're going to do. We don't want to lie to ourselves, or if you show it to other people, it's good to have an accountability partner. So you don't want other people to see you as failing. So write down your goals for sure. And then the last thing I'm going to go over is just the importance of atmosphere. I know Justin went over it this morning in the leaders meeting. I kind of look at things from a psychological standpoint too. The reason we're in here with so much energy going on, so much movement, not leaning against the wall, learning like that, is because the way you learn is going to be how you remember things. If you learn something in just a boring setting, then you're going to remember it in a boring way. But if you learn something in a, you know, hyped up way, then that's how you're going to remember it. You're going to be more positive about it. Literally anything I tell you, studies, many studies have been told over. So, you know, last thing I'll go over is, you know, is people to thank. So one, you know what, I'll go ahead and thank Jimmy. He's in here. He's given me a lot of product knowledge and everything. So I want to thank Jimmy for that. Thank Jose for the product knowledge and everything, you know, just some advice, things like that. Of course, I want to thank Joe. Joe, I would not have moved up here and made that step if it was not for him. I had to come up here because I would question my owner. We would get in arguments. But I come up here and Joe has 50 outside deals, makes over $1 million a year. if he tells me something, I can't try and argue and say something's better. So Joe's the reason I came up here. Also want to thank Eric. Is that still around there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank Eric for paying attention and watching me all the time.
That's not awkward at all. Continue.
I'm gonna beat you later.
Okay, fantastic. Let's continue. Come on.
So thank Eric. Eric's given me a lot of advice. Eric's been in the business a long time too. He looks at it not as an opportunity for himself, but he looks at it as a mission as well. So another, good way to surround yourself with a lot of people. Talk to Eric. He may annoy you some, but he's really into this the same way I am, and the same way everyone should be. And then lastly, is Justin there?
Yeah, no. He's doing some paperwork. Oh no, he's not.
All right. So definitely want to thank Justin. Come on, step around the corner.
There's no room.
I hear you.
Okay, well, I want to thank Justin more than anybody really because, I worked with him before and we argued a lot, we still argue some, but he cares about you. The thing about Justin that makes him so great and makes people go towards him is the relationship he builds with you. He's like a boss at the end of the day. He's going to give you advice and, give you advice, help you get where you're going, but he's also going to make you feel like part of his team, not like you're just somebody who's going to make him money. I'll joke around with him sometimes and I'll say, well, look, I just made you $50. He's like, I hate when you look at it that way. And I'll still keep doing that, but yeah, I love Justin and I wouldn't be here without him if he hadn't called me and offered me this opportunity. I don't know where I'd be right now. I would have either, been an employee at that job forever, or I would have quit, taken a 9-to-5 and been an employee for the rest of my life. Thank you for your time, guys.
Yeah! All right.